This is my 3D printing workshop and YouTube studio, and today I'm giving you the tour. And while I love this place, there's a couple of things that are really driving me crazy. So stick around while I show you all the little things that I've optimized and all the little cool knickknacks, while I also fix some stuff. I'm someone who really loves to set everything up to have the least amount of friction. While that sometimes leads to me wasting hours to just optimize one little thing, you can steal all of these ideas and just implement them easily. First, let me give you a little overview over the space. Here we got 3D printer number 1, and then there's 3D printer number 2. There's 2 more hidden around here. There you can see my desk, my couch, and this quote-unquote workbench. It looks good, but it's super wobbly, so that's one of the things we'll fix later. Also, there's a bunch of storage for filaments, 3D printing tools, and more. Firstly, let's talk about the 3D printers. Currently, I have 4 printers in this office, which I kind of showed in the beginning. My main machine is the Bambu Lab H2D. I love this thing. So far, it's just the most set and forget printer that I've ever had. I can just throw anything on it, from easy PLA models to polycarbonate. And I also like the dual extruder because it just makes multi-material printing so much easier and faster. As you can see here, I have the AMS Pro and also the AMS High Temperature. I don't even use the AMS High Temperature for full-on drying filament usually, but it's just for having an AMS since I really hate manually changing filaments, and this is just, an automatic filament changer pretty much for me. So for most of the stuff I do, I pretty much just chug it on here, and that's really just my main workhorse. Then the second machine that gets a lot of use is the A1 Mini. I really like this printer and it's just super easy to use, great for beginners, and I can just overall really recommend this one. So you can quickly change hot ends, and also it has just the right amount of build volume, and I like the AMS Lite for our filaments where I don't have to put them in a fully enclosed scenario. One highly specific reason for me why I keep this out here as opposed to maybe the X1C is because this one's really good for making time lapses. And for most people that's probably not too important, but for me as a YouTube creator, I make time lapses a lot, and it's just way easier and better to do in an open printer like this as opposed to an enclosed printer. The last thing that you might have seen is the plate changer on this A1. The swap mod for the A1 Mini definitely was a huge hit, and I've been using it a lot, and people seem to really love that, but they want more space, so they want the A1 sized. And this is pretty much that. So far, I haven't really tested this out too much. For the first tries, this was definitely working, but it was also a bit more involved than the A1 Mini swap mod. So yeah, this is not a full recommendation yet, but if this is something that you're looking for, you can check them out. Lastly, we have these 2 printers hidden here. I'm not going to talk about too much because it looks bad, but yeah, the X1C is still always a great printer, and the A1 Mini, in my mind, the best printer for beginners. Love this thing so much, and you can also get the swap mod on it. So yeah, definitely always a recommendation. These were just out of, space reasons, they're back here. Also, usually back there is the Sunlu Filament Dryer E2. I'm just putting it here to show you better, but I really like this thing. It can dry 2 rolls of filament at the same time, which drying filament is really important. PLA, not so much, but for tons of stuff, even with PETG, it's recommended. The really nice thing about this is that it goes up to 110 degrees Celsius, which means you can even dry stuff like carbon fiber and nylon, where most other filament dryers don't go over like 65 or 70 degrees, which really isn't enough for that. So that's why I love this, because it really gets you drying also all the advanced filaments, but it certainly does have the price tag, so it depends on if you need this or not. Besides all of my printers, one of the most important things for my YouTube videos is this, and this is my Workbench Setup / second desk. And the problem is, I really don't like this thing. While it looks pretty good, I think, at least in my opinion, the problem is it's really unsturdy. Like, look at this, it's so wobbly, it's not great. I've even gotten comments telling me how horrible this desk is. And honestly, they're right. The legs are already kind of spread out at a weird angle, and the tabletop is like paper thin. So this thing has to go. Just a little side story, I was gonna jump through this table for dramatic effect, how whatever crazy people at football games do. And even while jumping like lightly on it, I fully bent off 2 of these legs. But yeah, that's even more reason to show this wasn't stable and I need to get something better. Now that we've got that out of the way, today's sponsor, FlexiSpot, can come to the rescue. They sent me their E7 Plus sit-stand desk, and I can already feel that this thing is heavy duty. I've had a different FlexiSpot desk at home for years, and I've been loving it. Anyways, this model that I have right here is way nicer, and I'll show you why in a second after I set it up. Let's puzzle this thing. So this desk is pretty much set up now. It's only missing one really important ingredient, and it's in this box. Pretty much everything in the studio is on wheels, and that's why this desk setup also needs wheels. I mean, this thing is really sturdy, but also heavy. So you want it, you know, if you ever want to move it around, these will be your best friend. All right, this is the exciting moment where I turn this around and set this up. Let's just see. This was supposed to be a two-person job. Ugh. I definitely know now why this was supposed to be a two-person job. Ugh. This is the most important moment in any unboxing. That was pretty easy, and I'm really happy how this desk looks. But more importantly than the looks, it's stable. Like, it's me sitting on here and it's barely moving at all. And that's the big upside of the E7 Plus. While most of these desks only have one leg and things get kind of wiggly once you're all the way up or you put a lot of weight on it, with its two legs, this thing is a lot more stable. And that's the cool thing. While it's still smooth moving, this table can lift my 95 kilos effortlessly. Wow, it's starting to feel kind of weird up here. All of this comes with FlexiSpot's 15-year warranty and at an affordable price point. On their website, you can custom configure exactly the setup you want, from frame colors to the kind of tabletop and accessories. FlexiSpot is currently running special Brand Day and Memorial Day sales, up to 65% off, and there's also a chance to get 100% free orders. So click the link in the description and use my code YTE7P50 to get $50 extra off. So now that that's finally fixed, I think you'll see this desk in a bunch of my upcoming videos. One last thing I want to do is get this power strip mounted under the desk so I always have easy access to power. The problem is it's not really meant for that, so I have to 3D model an enclosure and print that. Hopefully I'll have that done by the end of the video and I'll be able to show it to you, so stay tuned for that. All right, that being said, it's getting kind of late, so I'll just show you the rest of the office tomorrow. Next day, and let's talk about storage, because I think this is one of the areas where a lot of people struggle. Underneath my H2D is my tool chest. And this is the one thing that I keep most of my 3D printing and also a lot of my filmmaking tools. Originally, I would have loved to get a Husky chest, but sadly, they're not really available in Germany or in Europe, I think. So this is the closest I could find to that. I'm someone who really hates it if they have to search for the tool that they need, because I think it makes the whole process kind of slow and burdensome. If I want something, I need to know where to find it and quickly. That's why I have this chest laid out with Gridfinity systems. I think all of the drawers are now fully outfitted, at least with the base system, and then I'm plopping in and out modules whenever I need to. And that's what I love about Gridfinity, that it can change with my needs. You know, I'll always have new equipment, get rid of old equipment, and then I can just easily throw out some old Gridfinity module that's not needed anymore and put in an own one. Or, you know, I think like organization, optimization never stops, at least for me. So I can always just like, this is a living system. I like having all these different drawers because just depending on what I need, everything more or less has its own drawer. There's still a little bit more chaos than I would want, but eventually I hope to fully get this sorted out and then also get it labeled so I can even more quickly than now find everything that I need. So besides my 3D printing stuff, there's a lot of camera stuff in here, and then there's cables, batteries, everything that you need for day-to-day stuff, as well as project components like, you know, wires, my soldering iron and all of that. So a lot of what I need day-to-day to finish my project is really in here. Another really important thing on this tool chest is that it houses my charging wall. On the side there's a little IKEA SCADA's panel, and attached to that I have most of my chargers. It's mostly for camera batteries, but also some USB chargers for other devices. Honestly, I can really recommend this, just having one place where you can charge everything. Of course, I have this here in my office, but I also have a similar setup in my home, and it's also worth its weight in gold there. One other big tip I can give you are these 3-in-1 charging cables. In a perfect world, of course, everything would be USB-C, but unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. So these cables make sure that like 95% of the cases, you have the right cable already attached, no looking for it or whatever. I almost forgot. The first thing I did to mount the power strip under my desk is to first of all scan the front side to kind of have an idea where I want to build my adapter around. I actually have a flatbed scanner, as stupid as that sounds, because it's really helpful for this kind of project. So I scanned it in and now I can model around this. My biggest storage problem for a long time was where to put all of the filament. I used to have all of my filaments in this little sideboard, but the problem is that I always had to dig through all of them, or I had to label all of the boxes to make sure I knew which filament type was in there and which color it was. And honestly, that was just a lot of work and ended up being really annoying. I know having a whole wardrobe for filaments is overkill for most people, but if I can give you one tip, it's definitely separate your different types of filaments. For example, I know in the top row it's all PLA, here it's all PETG, and so on. Like this, I can just throw them in there knowing, hey, all of this is that type of filament, and I can just easily see the color. So there's no big guessing what's what, and there's also no big overhead of labeling everything all the time. Lastly, behind me is my desk. I'm just gonna quickly go over this since I think maybe it deserves its own full setup tour, and let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more. I'm personally still convinced that this is one of the cleanest desk setups out there. Okay, you could definitely take away the speakers, but I really like them, and besides that, there's pretty much no cables visible, and it's so nice. To achieve that, I have a ton of stuff mounted under my table, like my USB sound card or my drawers to store some stuff that I need on the regular. Also, then the magic lies in the monitor stand and the speaker stands, because it's just a big aluminum pipe and I can route all my cables through that, and I actually cut a hole through the desk itself under the pipe, so I can just put the cables straight through and you never have to see them. Besides the desk itself, the chair is super important. You sit on this for hours on end, so you should really invest in getting a good one. The chair I'm using right here is the Herman Miller Sail, and for me this was the perfect combination of something that ergonomically feels really great and I think still looks really good. The downside is it's pretty pricey, so if you're looking for something else, the sponsor of today's video, FlexiSpot, also sells really nice office chairs, so look at this. This is definitely something you shouldn't cheap out on, because your posture and sitting so many hours in there definitely affects you and your long-term health, so yeah, just don't omit it. And now that I've had some time modeling, I measured the rest of the power strip and basically rebuilt it in CAD. And like this, I made a holder around this, just basically subtracted the power strip, and now I only have this holder that should be a pretty much perfect fit, and this also has some holes to drill it right in the table. I'm just gonna print it out and then we're gonna see if it actually works. So this is what the bracket looks like, and this is the whole thing attached to my power strip. Everything should be fine, and I'm gonna attach it to the table now. This looks like success to me and I really like it. I just realized the FlexiSpot also has a USB-C on the side here. I love that that's USB-C now, but this also will give me some more great options. I hope some of this was helpful or inspirational for you. Maybe there's some things that you want to take away or integrate into your own workflow. If so, let me know in the comments down below, and also tell me what things I still should improve or what I'm missing out on. You know, I'm always changing this workspace, making it better, so I'd really love your input. If you're not done watching other videos, then definitely check out this video where I go into my Gridfinity system, the whole organization, and how I really build it up. I've kind of talked about it here, but I have a whole video about it, so please check that out. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.